that ISIS brings when they conquer a village in Iraq and Syria. Now, you know you're evil when the Taliban, a huge Islamic jihad terror group, cringes at the things that you do. So much so that the Taliban have disconnected themselves from the official Islamic State. They have their reasons, interesting to say the least. So they're chopping body parts off, crucifying people, burning people alive, and beheading their victims. They're doing stuff like throwing gays off rooftops, drowning people too. And they do it in the public, and oftentimes for bizarre crimes like insulting the Prophet or insulting Allah. But in this video, we look to the source of their doctrine, of course. Where else would you find out if these actions are Islamic, right? So here we go. We look at those who were condemned by the founder of Islam himself. According to Islamic tradition, the angel Gabriel commanded that Muhammad attack the tribe of Banu Qurayza, where at least we know between 600 and 900 men were beheaded, and according to Ibn Ishaq, the biographer on the life of Muhammad, they were thrown in trenches. That sounds familiar because ISIS is doing the same thing. Banu Qurayza, the women there were taken as slaves. And listen to this, Muhammad labeled this as a form of judgment from Allah. Those 8 men who converted and then deserted Islam, which inspired Surah 5 verse 33, we know from Bukhari that the Prophet gave his orders. Why did he give his orders? For this reason. So their eyes were branded with pieces of iron, and their hands and legs were cut off, and they were left until they were dead in their state. Now, in the raid of another Jewish tribe called Khaybar, the apostle also gave orders to a man by the name of Az-Zubayr bin Al-Awwam to, quote, torture one of the Jews until he confessed where his riches were. So Zubayr kindled a fire, and he laid the piece of metal on the Jewish man's chest until he was nearly dead. Then the apostle asked him to be escorted where they struck off his head. Here we have another ISIS correlation. We can find yet another connection with ISIS in Islam. Surah 8 verse 12. It says, strike the head and cut off the limbs. This was following the Battle of Badr. Muhammad sent a number of raiders with orders to capture some of the Meccans, and listen to this, to burn them alive. But later he annulled it. He ordered that a man's tongue be cut out. At-Tabari tells us that when Muhammad saw Hamza, he said, if Allah gives me the victory over the Quraysh at any time, I will mutilate 30 of their men. When the Muslims saw the, quote, rage of the Prophet, they said, by Allah, if we are victorious over them, we will mutilate them in a way which no Arab has ever mutilated anybody. Let's take this to the Quran. Surah 59, verse 5 and 6 says this, whatever you have cut down of their palm trees, or you've left standing on their trunks, it was by permission of Allah, so He would disgrace the defiantly disobedient. Now, according to the interpretation by At-Tabari, this verse was revealed when the Jews said to the Muslims, has your God, has Allah really permitted you to destroy and burn? So the Jews were asking if Allah really commanded the Muslims to cut down the trees and burn them. So we know Muhammad burned palm trees, which was the property of Bani Nadir. Ali, a follower of Muhammad, burned people. It says he burned some apostates. And so Ibn Abbas says to Ali, if I were you, Ali, I would not have burned them, since the apostle said, just kill them all. So we see those closest to Muhammad practiced even burning. So when ISIS followers read that Muhammad burned property, and even threatened to burn any Muslims, by the way, who are not faithful in prayer, Ali burned people, then ISIS looks at these things and they have no problem doing the same. This is why ISIS feels like it's doing the Sharia correctly. It's simply because they are. I want you to join this discussion, use the hashtag, and let's talk about this. It's an uneasy topic, but it has to be done.